Hello and welcome to the show that follows people who decide to expand their homes in interesting directions. Now today I'm visiting the home of Ian and Bridget, and they live in this wonderful 4-bedroom house behind me. And in their wisdom, they've decided to convert their basement into a temple of the body. I'm sitting next to this hot tub, which means that we're off to a very interesting start.
Hi, my name's Bridge and this is my house. I moved here a year ago with my partner Ian and we think it's really cool. I've got quite a busy life, so all I want to do at the end of the day is come home and relax. And sometimes it's nice to unwind by working out. I'd like to start using my spare room as a spare room again, and I couldn't really expect any guests to sleep in here. So the idea is to change your stark, unused basement into a gym with much more space and a sauna. It'd be brilliant for working out and winding down.
So that's the plan, but one of the major issues when dealing with any basement conversion is keeping it dry and watertight. So today we'll be working on damp proofing.
Hi Bridget, how are you?
Hello.
Now I've been told that you love to work out and that you're desperate to have your basement converted into a new gym.
I am.
So why don't I just pop in and run my eye over your equipment and see if I can help you?
Come on in.
Well, I can see why you need a conversion. You do need a bit more space. Is this the extent of your equipment?
It is at the moment, yes, but we're hoping to add to it and get some weights and some benches and some other bits and pieces when I've got more space.
Be an even tougher workout then, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, as I've come up the stairs and looked around the house, it's very much in period. So are you going to sort of carry on with that style downstairs in the basement?
Actually, no, we're going for a modern feel down there.
What, a complete contrast?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever carried out major conversion work like this before?
No, never.
So who's doing the work? Not you and your partner? I suppose.
No. We've got builders in to do that.
So you've got builders, but who's controlling them?
Keith.
And who's Keith?
He's going to be our project manager.
Project manager? Good idea. So Keith, I presume, is down in the basement.
He is.
I'd like to meet him, and it's obviously downstairs.
Yes.
Right, let's go down and meet Keith. Aha, you must be Keith.
Hello, Tommy.
I'm the project manager, I believe.
That's the one.
Now, Bridget tells me you're actually going to create a gym down here, convert this basement into a gym and a sauna.
Yep.
So what have you done so far? It looks a bit messy to me.
Yes. Well, we originally came here, this was the floor levels that we was met with.
Right, yes. Not exactly conducive for me, is it, really?
You deduct to get into me there, Tommy.
So you've taken the floor out, but how would you know that the project was possible? You know, it's a bit of a risk taking the floor out and starting the project because you may not be able to get the floor to ceiling height.
That's right, it certainly is. What you need to do is dig a test pit in each room, and that will then determine where the base stones are, which, like you say, will tell us whether we can even do the project at all.
Yeah, because you have to have a minimum floor to ceiling height of 2.3 metres, 7'7".
Yep.
In a habitable room.
Yes.
But now, this is because it's a gym and a sauna, it's sort of a bit of a grey area when it comes to habitable room, doesn't it?
Yep, certainly is. And we can get away with a minimum of 2 metres.
Bridget's Victorian house has 2 stories, with a basement split into 3 rooms. These rooms are to be converted into different sections: a sauna area, a cross-training room, and a room for free weights. So, Keith, what did you call this room again?
This is a free weights room, Tommy.
What, on special offer or something?
No special offer. Free weights, benches, bars, all the weights are free as opposed to machine training.
Oh, no machines, just the bars and plenty of exercise. Right.
The job today was to make the basement damp-free and usable. So we're going to lay a membrane to stop damp rising through the floor and damp-proofing the walls using a semi-permeable membrane to stop penetrating damp.
Are you here to do some work, Tommy?
Well, I'm here in an advisory capacity.
You want to come and join our complete builders gang? They're upstairs waiting to meet you.
Well, you've already got a project manager here with you, so I suppose I'll have to get my hands dirty.
Come through to here and I'll show you what we're
Now,
going to do.
What are they doing?
next.
Having a cup of tea?
They're having a cup of tea, I believe.
The cup of tea was lovely but short-lived, which is what happens when you have a project manager. Always down to the workers to get their hands dirty.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you. Now, this is Vinny, and he's the foreman on the site, and I'll be working under Vinny. So how long have you been doing this job for?
About 2 weeks, Tommy.
You happy with the progress?
Yeah, really happy with it, yeah.
Right, lads. How are we doing? Do a little bit more work, shall us? Take your cups, can I?
It's a bit of a hard
What do you
task,
think?
Marshall. I haven't even finished my tea.
We haven't got time for that.
Project managers.
Encouraged by Keith's kind words, we got on with it. The first job of the day was to prepare the cellar floor.
that we're going to put a damp-proof membrane down on this floor, which is plastic. It's just a thin piece of plastic on a roll. And we lay this out over the whole floor, and that stops any dampness, any moisture from the ground coming up through and into the floor, the finished floor. And that's called a membrane. But because it's only plastic, in order to stop it being perforated by the stones, we put this sand blinding down. So it's just basically take some sharp or soft sand, spread it over the whole floor, get it roughly level, and then we put the membrane on top of that. It won't get broken or damaged, and then we're going to put the concrete on top of the membrane. And that way you'll have a perfectly waterproof floor. I have to say, Vinny, that that's not what they would say in the textbook of how to use a spirit level.
No, this, that's the way I like to use it.
Yeah.
The level of it's not that important, as long as it's something like it.
What we call near as...
Near as damn it.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because I can't say that on TV.
Scenes like this are all too commonplace in basement conversions, and one man who has seen his fair share of disaster stories is waterproofing expert Mark Edwards.
What we tend to find is when we're called out, it's usually after somebody has done a renovation job, and we find 6 inches of water in the basement. It's a failure due to perhaps there's been a localised flood, or there's been a leak of the water mains, or in the most cases it's severe weather conditions and it's caused flooding.
There are many options when it comes to waterproofing your basement, one of them being a tank protection, which involves waterproof render being applied to the inner walls.
A cementitious coating would generally include a 3-part sand and 1 part cement render. It would then have a slurry coat, which basically has a waterproof product, followed by another slurry coat and what we call a spatter coat here. The roughness here is so that the final coat can key to it, and that would be a waterproof cementitious coating.
However, one problem with tanking is the risk of cracking, which is why one system becoming more common in basement waterproofing is the cavity drain membrane system, used here in this conversion project in Somerset. This special membrane has a dimpled texture, which means that it sits proud of the wall and allows any water to flow behind it. It's held in place by special fixings, which are self-sealing, and the water falls into a channel that runs around the perimeter of the basement. From here, the water drains to a sump, into which a pump is fitted. This is capable of pumping up to 80 litres of water a minute to an external drain, safely away from your basement. After the pump is installed, the wall is ready to plasterboard and the room is safe from penetrating damp. Whether you use a cement-based product or a membrane, you should always consult an expert, as there are many different systems available. Whatever you do, it's important to get it sorted, or your new room could turn out to be more pool than cool.
The last thing that anybody would want is for water to enter the basement when they've completed the renovation. So it is very important that it's done up front and designed properly.
Having levelled the sand on the floor, we set about laying the membrane.
It's a bit like laying a carpet, this. It's a bit tricky, but you've got to try and keep it parallel to the wall, and then you move it with your feet when you want to move it over a bit. How's that? Now we step inside. We've got the right height. That's plenty here.
We've got 4 inches above the concrete there, so...
Yeah, that's plenty.
That's plenty.
So if we pull this end in,
Yeah.
and cut this corner, these 2 corners to fit, then we'll cut another strip off the roll,
Yeah.
and go right the way down there and lap it.
Lap it right over.
Now the problem about this is you have to get it really folded into the corner. So you take your time, and we're going to go down. I have to get it round this corner, so I'm going to cut this again, so I can get it down. And what I'll do here is afterwards I'll cut another strip and tuck it under, and then lay that against it, so it's completely sealed. Now, what you have to do, don't have to cut this corner, all we had to do is actually just fold it and lap it in like that. And once the concrete goes in, it's up to there, this can be trimmed off the excess.
We then place another length of membrane onto the floor and lapped it under, and also laid more sections at the corners.
Right, well that's all the membrane installed. And don't worry if you happen to actually have a slight mishap and drop the knife or happen to tear the plastic. Provided you cut a nice big square of it and slide it underneath to form a patch. Once the concrete goes on top, that'll seal it down and there'll be no moisture coming through. Job done. Right, what's the next task?
I'll come into my office and I'll show you, Tom.
Sounds intriguing.
So join us after the break when we will continue to damp-proof the cellar, moving our attention to the walls where we will make and fix the new stud work. Welcome back. Today I'm lending a helping hand at a basement conversion. We have fitted the damp-proof membrane in one room and 6 inches of concrete in another, and we're about to tackle damp-proofing the walls.
Vinny, this room doesn't look much better than the last one.
No, it doesn't really, does it?
Now this is going to be the free weight.
Free weights area, yeah.
Free weights area. And what we've got to do in here?
But basically, we've got to make up some 4x2 stud frames, fix them floor to ceiling.
All around the room?
All around the room, yeah.
Inside the existing walls?
Inside the existing walls, yeah, with a vapour barrier on the back of them.
To stop any moisture coming through?
Stop any moisture from the walls coming through into the room.
Right. Well, maybe we'd better get started, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
We're going to cut them down here, or...?
No, we've got one of the lads upstairs. He'll do the cutting upstairs, get them all cut to length, and we'll put them together down here on the floor.
Right, suits me. Come, let's go and do that. Do we know what the measurements are yet?
I think so, yeah.
I hope these are the right size, Dave, otherwise there'll be hell to pay.
They're done off the template, which is the first one that we mark. And
You
then
come off the template?
Yep, and then
Good.
the rest are taken from that.
Dave, are you sure these are the right size?
I'm not sure who cut the template, you or me.
Now, let me tell you, Dave, I never measured any template or cut any template at all, so I can't be blamed for it.
Will it count if I use your tape measure?
No, it won't count if you use my tape measure.
Back down in the cellar, we began to construct a new stud wall. We marked 400mm distances on the top and base plates. The uprights sit in the middle of these marks. This ensures 800mm plasterboard will fit in the centre of an upright.
Well, they're pretty straight, actually.
Yeah, not too bad. We did ask the builders merchant to unpick them for us.
Yeah, well, I normally ask them to do that, and they normally end up looking like the hind leg of a donkey. Yeah. Now, what we're doing, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I've got it.
We're going to put the noggins in. Now, what are noggins and why? If you have a look down here, if I give that little kick, there's still a bit of play in this frame. So what we do, we take pieces of timber and we squeeze them in between these two uprights, and we go right the way through, and then we nail them, and that stiffens the whole frame up.
Right, Tommy, what next we're going to do is we're going to fix the membrane to the back of the stud work.
Using what, clout nails or something?
Well, we'll use staples, I think. I think staples should just be enough to hold it on there.
What was the purpose, you said, of fixing this to the back of the wall?
The reason we're doing this, Tommy, is so if we get any moisture running down the wall,
Yeah.
the moisture's going to run down and down the back of the membrane rather than coming out under and on top of the slab.
We then attach breathing paper to the back of the stud work. The paper acts like a breathable barrier, keeping out the penetrating damp but allowing moisture to pass through.
That's the baby. Spot on.
When it comes to looking for inspiration for a new leisure suite, Bridget need look no further than this amazing extension in North Devon. What was a modest bungalow is now a 5-bedroom house with a total of 4 extensions, with the best being saved for last.
When we got married back in 1976, we moved into what was then a small 3-bedroom bungalow. And then as our children came along, we gradually added bedrooms and extensions to the lounge and the kitchen and so on.
So with all the practical extensions out of the way, it was time for Brian to turn his mind to leisure and pleasure.
This was our last extension and the biggest one. And what it's got is an indoor swimming pool, a hot tub, a children's pool.
And in addition to this, there is also a tennis court round the back, a hot tub on the decking, and back inside there's a snooker room for those late night sessions and a sauna to relax in after a hard day's work.
It took a long time being built, and obviously it was a fairly big extension. But to add to that, it was a very wet autumn. I think it rained non-stop for 3 months. So it meant that the place became not only a building site, but a mud bath. And it was very difficult for both the builders and for the pool people to put the pool in and to build the building around it during these bad weather conditions.
Yeah, this was one of the most difficult pools we probably built for a long time. It was unfortunate that we built it during what was recorded to be one of the wettest winters in nearly 200 years. The nature of the site, as you can see, is that it's sloping and the pool is at the lowest part of the site. And although the initial dig didn't reveal any particular problems with groundwater, we subsequently incurred considerable problems with groundwater, both and also runoff from the side of the hill, which certainly slowed us up.
It took over a year for the whole project to happen, but it was worth it in the end. But having said that, I wouldn't like to go through it again. Our pool is quite deep because, well, 3 of my sons are over 6 foot tall, and I know that to use a pool properly, you need to be able to jump in and dive in, and we felt that a standard depth pool just, it wouldn't be adequate, so we asked the architect to design a deep pool.
Regarding the depth of this pool is a little bit unusual in as much as that this pool is actually 8 feet deep, which, relevant to its size, is actually quite deep, but that's a requirement by the client. The family are all quite tall, so the family, the sons, so that's why we built it that way. We also have the countercurrent swimming unit, which is there on the end of the pool wall, which is activated by the swimmer when they're in the pool. They press the button and quite simply everything goes.
Indoor pool prices can start at around 20 grand, but if you're thinking of building a pool extension, make sure you budget for the equipment that controls the water quality, humidity, and an electric pool cover as well if it takes your fancy.
I swim 3 or 4 days a week. Quite often I'll swim in the evenings rather than during the day. And then obviously we have 4 sons and they have friends and girlfriends and so on, and they come here and use the pool and the facilities regularly. We have friends come here, and so we have 2 or 3 pool parties a year, which is great fun because we have the pool, the hot tubs, the snooker room, the sauna, so there's something for everyone to do.
As an end result, yes, we're delighted with it. More importantly, we hope that the client is delighted with it, and the feedback from the client is that they are. The pool is being used regularly and everybody's having plenty of fun and exercise from it, which is what this whole project was all about.
Back at the basement, we're fixing the stud-work to the wall.
I've got to ask, normally I use nail guns, I don't normally have to do all this arm work. I'm going to put in a demand for extra wages for this,
Well, it's just lazy if you ask me.
Well, it's nice and solid.
Yeah.
But what about the floor? Can you fix into the floor?
Yeah, we're going to use 4-inch coach bolts to go into the floor.
What about the membrane?
Well, because I put the concrete down, I know that we've got at least 4 inches of concrete underneath the stud work, so we use a 4-inch coach bolt. We'll be going for 2 inches of timber and 2 inches of concrete.
2 inches of concrete,
so
and the membrane will be safe.
Membrane with 2 inches underneath that.
Now, the next stage of this job is to put the ceiling board up. Right, are you ready?
Yep.
We'll pop it in position. A couple of things you have to know. While he's getting that in position now. Do you want me to reach through?
Yeah, I've got it.
Put some holes, measured out for the cables, and put some holes in the plasterboard so that you don't lose the cables coming through. And we've also, because we've got pipes, copper water pipes there, we've marked on the board here where the pipes are so we don't put screws through them because you easily forget. And you must always come across the joist rather than go with it. So these have got to be at right angles to the joist. And you cut them to size so that you end up with this board halfway across the joist, will allow another board to come across from that side and be screwed onto the same joist. You mustn't have it flapping about halfway across.
Up there for thinking, down there for dancing.
Yeah, yeah. What about...
Bit of forward planning.
What about if you happen to do some of that break dancing where you spin on your head? What does that mean?
I don't know. You've never seen me dance, have you?
Right. Now, I wonder what Keith and Bridget think of this.
I don't know. Are they upstairs, are they?
Yeah, you know what they're doing? As clients and project managers, you can guarantee they're doing a bit of this.
Definitely. I could do a bit of that myself.
And people think it's builders who always drink tea.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
Is that all you've done today, Tommy?
you tired of living or something? It's only one day, you know.
You're right, there's only so much.
There's only so much I can do in a
There is
day.
only so much you can do in one day.
Well, I'll go over to you, Bridget. Now, let me ask you first of all, have you got a very vivid imagination?
I have.
Good. Because I know this is far from being finished, but what do you think of it so far?
No, it's brilliant. It looks really good.
It had been a good day. We'd made a start on damp-proofing the basement and brought Bridget one stage closer to having the home she wanted.
Now, the next time we come back, this should be nearly completed, this project. All we've got to do is the finishing touches. And then we'll see whether this project has been successful or not.